Hey everybody, Jason here. For the last video, I'm sorry, I apologize it took so long for this to come out. Been super busy with the holidays and sick, still sick. My wife's still sick. Luckily, my daughter hasn't gotten it, thankfully. So just low energy, drainage, coughing, things like that. Anyway, so the last video that I have here is for this series anyway is my top 10 favorite physical purchases for RPGs in 2019. Spot number 2 was a hard decision for me because my spot number 3, like I said in the last video, could have easily been number 2. And I think the only reason that number 2 is in number 2 spot instead of number 3 is I plan on running this game fairly soon, and I'm really excited about it. It's not D20. It's kind of a mishmash of the Dragon Age game or the Fantasy Age system, and a little D&D sensibilities, things like that. But the game in question, number 2, is Talisman Adventures. This is the playtest version of the game, meaning it's, 100 pages or so? No, not even that. It's, get past. I'm sorry, 70 pages plus character sheets, pre-gen characters. And it's a mixture of both rules, a little bit of setting information, very sparse setting information, and a pre-made adventure to run to learn the rules. And this is by Pegasus Spiel and Games Workshop, and this is ridiculous. This is $10, full color, wonderful art inside. It's it's not groundbreaking by any means as far as like the game or the system or anything like that. It's just different, very simple, very easy, and all the dice rolling is player facing in this game, so the GM doesn't have to roll any dice, which I like. But it's got some D&D tropes like memorizing spells and things like that. But it also has some unique things about it where, like, say you cast all your spells for the day and you want to get one more use out of that spell, you can burn that spell out of your memory and cast it one last time. Things like that. And it's got 2 main attributes, and that's strength and craft. So craft is anything like, well, actually, let's go back. Strength and craft. And then under those 2 abilities, you've got 3 sub-abilities on each one. Abilities, sub-stats, I guess. So under strength, you've got brawn, agility, and mettle, which you can think of in D&D terms as like strength, dexterity, constitution. And then under craft, you've got insight, wits, and resolve, which are all pretty self-explanatory. It does have alignments, backgrounds, classes, races, which in this game they're called ancestries, not race. And the alignment system is not like the D&D 9-point system. It's more like a good, neutral, evil type system. Just those 3 choices. One thing I like about this, the system for this, I'm really excited to try out, is the Kismet die. And so to play the game, you'll roll 3d6 for any action you attempt to do, and one of those dice has to be a Kismet die, which means it's an off-color die, or a die that you can somehow tell the difference of the 3 that you're rolling. Whereas, so if you roll a 1 or a 6, it's kind of like a boon or a bane type deal, narratively. If you roll a 6, something positive happens whether or not you fail the roll or succeed at the roll. And if you roll a 1, something bad happens whether or not you succeed or fail at the roll. And sometimes certain weapons or items will have a bonus thing happen, like an effect happen, if you roll a 6 on the Kismet die. And the Kismet die can affect a lot of things. Like if you are casting a certain spell, the Kismet die can have the spell can have a certain special extra effect, or you can do more damage, things like that. So in the game with those 3 dice, and if you have a bonus or a penalty or whatever, you roll an extra die. Say you have a bonus or an advantage. I can't remember what they call it in this game. But say you have an advantage. You roll an extra d6, and you'll keep the 3 best of those 4 dice. However, one of them has to be the Kismet die. Even if a Kismet die is a 1 and the other 3 dice all roll 6, you have to keep the Kismet die no matter what. If you have disadvantage, you roll an extra die and keep the lowest. But again, have to keep the Kismet die. And so if you roll, it's also somewhat similar to Powered by the Apocalypse. A little bit, so it's kind of a mixture of a few games. So let me read something here, if I could find it. Where's that? Maybe I can just look at the character sheet and tell you. No, I don't see it. Anyway, basically it's, if you attack, you can get, when you do your dice rolls, you can get a couple of different results. You can get a failure, a standard success, which is often just called a success, a great success, or an extraordinary success. Failure means exactly that, your action fails. Standard success, or just success, means that you succeeded, but there's a complication. For example, if your character is attacking an enemy, a standard success means you strike your enemy, but they get to strike back. If you're scaling a wall, maybe you make progress, but you slip and find yourself hanging by one hand. Great success means you're completely successful and no side effects or repercussions. And then extraordinary success is like a critical, you can succeed beyond expectations. So that's how an enemy attacks you. Say you go to attack a goblin and you get a standard success. Means you hit the goblin. However, they also get to strike back at you. If you were to get a great success, you hit the goblin and you could narratively say they attack back or whatever, but they miss. Or whatever. So that's kind of how that works. And then there's the last thing that's different is, not different, there's fate. So there's light fate and dark fate. And, you could use white stones and black stones or whatever. I kind of like the idea of using little Othello chips. So if you flip one over, it's white. Flip it over again, it's black, whatever. Or whatever. But those are your typical fate type deals where you can, add extra dice, this power certain abilities, things like that. So that was my number 2 game of 2019 that I got a physical copy of. Number 1, I would probably say a little bit less about number 1 than I did about number 2. But Merkborg, I backed this Kickstarter a long time ago, and this is by oh gosh, umlauts, man. Occult Ertmester Games. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. Stockholm Cartel, published by Free League Publishing. Merkborg. Oh my god, I did an unboxing for this a while back. If you haven't played or seen Merkborg, as of this video, and I'm recording this January 6th, 2020, I believe this is supposed to hit retail, digital / physical, in January 2020, sometime this month. I don't know what day, and I don't know for sure that's concrete. When it does hit retail, I will be buying another copy of this because it's amazing. This is the best book I've read all year. for a number of reasons. It's okay. So the book's called Merkborg, a doom metal album of a game, a spiked flail to the face, rules light, heavy everything else, and that is the honest truth about this. This book, if you were to go through your collection of music and pick out all the black metal and death metal and Swedish and European doom metal that was in your collection, and listen to nothing but that and write a book, that's what this would be. It says, one day all will blacken and burn, just as the two-headed basilisks have predicted. The world is dying. Time is short. How will you face these last days? Robbing graves for soil-stained wealth, or facing down the apocalypse, hoping it can be fought? There are reportedly over 100 different fonts used in this book, and I believe it. When you first open the book, no page is wasted. You got tables. The very last page of the book, more tables. These are the inside and backside covers, by the way. So this book is ridiculous. I have never read a book with this much flavor and atmosphere and something dripping off of every page. It's dark. It's very, very dark. And when I say dark, I don't mean like grimdark like Warhammer Fantasy, although it's very deadly. It's very deadly. It's just a dark, gloomy, I don't want to say depressing, but something of a game. The game was written by, and I apologize, I'm probably going to butcher this name, Pell Nilsson. And God, it's so. I'll just flip through some pages and let you look at it, because talking about it's not going to give it due. I can't give this book the credit that it's due. And I know this looks chaotic, and a lot of it is chaotic, but it just adds to it. It just adds to it. There's a ribbon bookmark inside of it that's got the. I'll show you the bookmark. The ribbon bookmark has all kinds of stuff written on it. Let's see what it says. Merkborg, Stockholm Cartel, Occult, or Atmosphere Games. So it's kind of got the information about the company that made the game on the bookmark. But in some of the pages, I don't think you can tell this, are silver foil stamped. There was a Kickstarter exclusive cover for this that was foil stamped also. I opted to get this cover instead because I love this art so much. I just love this art. I liked it more than the Kickstarter exclusive art. You can play it, the way the game is. It's very, very, very simple as far as the system is concerned. It's kind of like basic D&D, a little OSR-ish, but I mean, this is ridiculous. It's very dark. The world is dying. There are two-headed basilisks. I think, is it he and she? I think there's a male and a female that are kind of controlling everything. An evil one and a not so evil one, if that helps. But it's got things like, okay, I'll just read you an example. This class is called Gutterborn Scum. You roll a d6 to determine how you were born. A bad birth. If you roll a 1, dumped onto a moving shit cart, still in your birth call. 2. Mother hanged from a tree outside Galgenbeck. You fell from the corpse. Number 3. Raised by rats in the gutters of Grift. 4. Kicked and beaten beneath a baker's table in Schleswig. 5. Escaped from Valandian Orphanarium, if that's how you say Valandium, or is it Tevalandium? I don't know. Number 6. Educated by outlaws in a hovel south of Allianz. It's ridiculous. Here's a one called Esoteric Hermit. Your origins, awakening, adult, in a ritual circle underneath the northern bridge to Grift. Dying of plague in a Bergen crypt hovel, you touch something from outside. I mean, that's the kind of stuff you'll find in this game. It's unreal. This is the best book I have read in years, probably. I wish I could do it justice. I don't want to show you too much because I want you to buy this book. I was given a suggestion. Anybody who bought the game was given a suggestion with the emails that were sent out saying that the PDFs were available and that the hardcovers had shipped. And the suggestion was, do not read the PDF. Don't even look at the PDF until you get your physical copy. I did that. I took that advice, and I'm glad I did. If by chance you are able to buy this book and you do get a PDF of it with the hardcover, do not read the PDF. Don't read the digital version. Wait until you get this book and read the book before you look at the PDF. The experience is fantastic. If you read the PDF before you get the hardcover, it will be spoiled, and you will not have the same experience looking through this book for the first time. I highly, highly, highly recommend you do not read the PDF if you get a hardcover copy of this, or a hard copy of it. This is sort of like... So, The Blackest of Deaths by Bloat Games is kind of like a heavy metal version of OSR. This is like a Swedish black metal version of OSR. So both books are similar somewhat in tone, I guess. Is that right? Metal, heavy metal, and black metal. Are the way I describe these two books comparatively. But this is ridiculous. I can't say enough good about it. Get it. Keep your eyes out for it. Keep your eyes peeled for it. It's Morkborg. Morkborg. And even if you never play it, just reading it is worth the price alone. So those were my 2019 top 10 RPGs of the year, physical copies that I got. I may do a follow-up video to this and give you some of my honorable mentions that didn't make it onto the top 10 list. I don't know. But anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. This is probably the longest video yet, almost 20 minutes. But I hope you guys got some good stuff in 2019. I hope you get even better stuff in 2020. It's January 6th, and I've already gotten one thing in the mail that surpassed my expectations. That I thought, yeah, it looks interesting, I'll probably enjoy it, but already one of the best things I've read in a long time, besides Morkborg. But anyway, I'll save that for the end of the year, I guess. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later.